Okay. Right before we started, Jordan said we had to toss it, but luckily we had a spare. Now, I don't know the context, so I'll just leave it at that. I'll just start the episode there, and the audience can just try to figure out what was happening in the green room. David knows.
Yeah. They don't call it the green room for nothing. Wink, wink.
Crack open a cold box of wine or pour something cold on ice because it's the Binge-Watchers Podcast. Crack open a cold box.
Motion graphics, After Effects. We upgraded our done video intro, folks. So if you were watching it with eyeballs while you're trying to listen, then you just saw something brand new. Well, kind of brand new. I mean, it's the same good old classic theme song. Bring you back to Mayberry. You love it. How long have we had the theme song, David?
Man, what, 7, 8 years? 9? Oh.
Damn. All right.
That's awesome.
A while.
Time to call the composer. Time to do a redo. Radio City Music Hall. David live in concert. Go now to ticketmaster.com/. No, I'm just kidding. Podcast within a podcast within a podcast within a podcast in a real place. Somebody do that.
Podcast. All right.
That's like a Rick and Morty plot line or something. Which is a science fiction cartoon. Look it up if you don't know. We don't have time for it. Guys, I want to talk about... actually, it's like a phenomenon, but in real life. Not a science fiction TV phenomenon, but like a real phenomenon. And you can tell me if you witnessed this or not. So, let's talk about sold out empty theaters. Have you guys ever Googled sold out empty theaters?
No.
Okay, good. It doesn't lead you to porn, unfortunately. Folks were getting excited. They're like Pornhub/empty theater. No. It's this phenomenon where you go to buy a movie ticket and the guy goes, all those seats are sold out. You're going to have to sit up front. You look at the screen because they got screens now, David. Do you know this? It's all digital. Touch screen.
Yeah.
It shows you if you're late to a movie, and you know this because all the seats are taken, and then you turn to the other person and be like, see? Who comes late to a movie and to the snack counter? No time for cheese on the nachos. But I call them the neck breakers. The neck breakers? No. The neck breakers. You break your neck. Dyslexia runs in the family. Somebody give me a carton of milk. Okay. So, yeah, you will break your neck if you get stuck sitting in the front seat, even though the seats recline. This is one of those theaters you can buy like food, like, oh, you want a chicken sandwich? And you can like hit a button and the seat kind of reclines. However, you still feel horrible. Like you got like a really bad massage before and after going to the theater, like a double whammy. Like you went to get a second massage to fix the first massage, but it all sucks. It kind of ruins the movie experience because it's like, oh yeah, those really are jingle balls, Because it bends the dimensions of the actors on the screen, so you kind of feel like you're looking at them like up skirt or like up the pant leg the whole movie. We watched a movie with Santa Claus in it. Get over it. I didn't tell him to hang his balls everywhere. That's just what happens on Christmas, especially at David's house. I've been to your Christmas with your eggnog, David.
We get festive.
Yeah, so we got like a seasonal movie to talk about later. So if you're not listening during the season, I'm sure there's going to be entertaining stuff that have nothing to do with Christmas. So keep listening. Merry old jolly episodes here. Binge-Watchers Podcast. If you're watching the video in the beginning, you know what you're watching. Could be Johnny Rants all night. Johnny Rantington. Mardmartigan is not in the new Willow show because obviously Val Kilmer was sick, and then they couldn't figure out how to shoot him out during COVID as his character, Beloved from the Willow movie. Basically, he's a full-size swordsman that helps the tiny wizard go on a quest, and then he falls in love with an evil princess. Evil princess decides she likes him too. We almost watched this movie. We did like a few months ago. We did a series of fantasy movies. This almost made the list. Willow's a classic, and it's by Ron Howard. You should take a look at it. Anyway, so when the princess says, "I don't want to be so bad anymore because I love you too," then they got to fight the mom, who's like the sorceress, the bad person of the movie. But I was thinking, all the new fantasy shows use a certain degree of CGI, right?
Right.
So they could have gone to Val Kilmer's house, put him on the front lawn, and just said, pretend to swing your sword at a dragon that's not there, and then the Fantastic Beasties would come in later, you know? Because surely the show is going to use CGI. If you happen to watch, like, 2 episodes dropped, they're CGI. So, you know, if you can make a shadow fly around, you can't put Val Kilmer in, like, you know, the corner of a castle. Like, oh, there's Mardmartigan right there. He's waving at us. For some reason, he's not going on the quest, but he's just there. You know what I mean? Or, like, when they kick the dad off that one show. What's that show about Goldbergs? When they kick the dad off, they just have, like, this creepy, like...
Oh, God, yeah.
Have you seen this animation?
I watched that show regularly, and it was awkward.
You'll have to Google it. Like, it looks scary. It's like that Disney, you know how they phase the actors younger or whatever? But this is like, no, the actor's no longer on the show, so, like, let's just crop him into, like, scenes. And so he just kind of lurches around like this.
Interesting.
His eyes never really lift up. He's just like...
Well, before that,
creepy.
they were doing, like, really lo-fi techniques where it was just a lot of behind-the-scenes shot, and, like, they'd use audio from older episodes.
With, like, a stand-in or something?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way to do it if you want to save money. And also make it look like, oh, there is a human there. But for some reason, like, the dad doesn't drop any more pearls of wisdom at dinner time anymore. We're like, oh, no. It's, like, lobotomized over mashed potatoes or something. What else is going on? Did anybody read the notes? I can't even read my scribbles. Oh, we watched a movie called Violent Night, and it already might have a sequel, greenlit, ? I just realized now I didn't even finish the theater story. I was asking you guys if you've ever been to a theater and just like the empty chairs.
I've had a few neck breaker experiences.
Yeah.
Because of that. Yeah.
Well, and speaking about this movie maybe getting a sequel already, so when I picked this seat and then went into the theater to watch this movie that we're about to talk about, a lot of seats were empty. I was like, no, surely not. Surely not. Like, when dude tells you that all these seats are taken and there's like 5 seats left in the theater, you go, oh, packed house. This is going to suck. There was no one there. So I'm like, oh, it's got to be a phenomenon, right? So yeah, run to Google. If you type in sold out empty theater, it's usually a bunch of articles about how Miss Marvel's had sold out theaters all across the country, and then like, or Captain Marvel, whatever, one of the Marvels, the theaters were empty. And there's also an older report when Forrest Gump was competing with another movie, and then like Forrest Gump somehow managed to get another $1 million after opening weekend after the other movie. It was Lion King. Lion King reported 23 million, and then like 5 hours later, Forrest Gump's like 24 million. Could be honest. Could be scandalous movie business. Who knows?
Oh, see, I thought it was like one of those things where, like, I think, like the third Crocodile Dundee was like the #1 movie in America only because people were buying tickets to that to go see like the more popular R-rated movie at the time.
Oh, you mean like, how kids? Yeah, kids used to buy the PG tickets to see the R-rated movie, right? Classic maneuver. But that was with a group of kids that loved movies. Now the new thing is like the challenge of getting kicked out of a movie theater. That's the new game. Like, intentionally get yourself kicked out of a movie theater with your friends, and then call your other friends who aren't there to tell them, hey guys, guess what just happened? TikTok movie theater challenge. You gonna do it, Dave? And you get pressured in to get yourself kicked out of a movie theater?
Why
are you running upstairs? Go the other way. He's gonna kill you. That kind of stuff.
I got kicked out over the summer being a gentle minion, I guess.
Oh,
what?
Dave.
Wait.
Not real.
What?
No, that was a joke.
Oh.
You don't remember that phenomenon over the summer where all the TikTokers were dressing up in fancy attire to go see the Minions movie?
No.
Yeah, this was like a thing over the summer.
Gentle minions.
It was like hashtag gentle minions.
The trailer dropped for Indiana Jones 5, which is also affectionately known. Well, the real title is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So I think like Harrison Ford and like a lot of fans like didn't like the aliens in part 4, but this one is time travel supposedly. So they're not veering too far off the track to return it to just like action adventure, you know, jungle adventures or they're still fighting the Nazis. This will be like the
third time out of 5 movies.
Third go around. Let's see. Original movie Nazis, then he fought Nazis again in the 4th movie, right? Yeah, so this will be the third.
The third one because it was.
Oh wait, you're the one with the dad.
Last Crusade.
Yeah, which is still the best movie, I think.
What?
That's my favorite.
I don't know.
You don't like the one with Sean Connery? Indiana's dead. We named the dog Indiana.
No, I did like that one. The Last Crusade is the good one. I forgot the one with the aliens is where they lost me, and I'm just like, I can't. You know.
I'm in a weird camp. I actually didn't mind that movie. Like there always been like campy throwbacks to old 50s, 30s movies. So like I never understood why people hated that movie as much as they did.
I gotta revisit it. I'll give it another shot.
I mean, look, I'm not saying it was a great movie, but like the movies were always supposed to be like B movies with a big budget, and that's what that movie was. It was just a sci-fi era 50s type movie for that one. Yeah.
Tonight's movie is Violent Night. Some baddies try to heist a mansion on Christmas Eve, and then Santa shows up, and he's going to punish the naughty. And then Mr. Scrooge is like, I got to end Christmas forever. Played by John Leguizamo, and David Harbour is Santa Claus. What do you know about this movie, David? Talking about another David.
David. All right, let me pull up what facts I could pull for this guy.
Well, you know who's in the movie. You could be like, you might know David Harbour from Stranger Things. Now he's playing Santa. Also, did you pay attention to the Santa mythology in this movie?
I did.
Then did you look up the mythology?
I did
and maybe drop some trivia about the mythology, or did you ignore that whole fact altogether?
I ignored that bit. Just went for some reason.
You went along with what they say during the movie like 17 times.
Well, because I figured we're going to be talking about it
it.
anyways.
What?
I said I figured we'd be talking about that aspect within the review anyways.
Oh my gosh.
Well, anyways, so this is like there's.
I mean, literally, if you Google Viking Santa Claus, then it'll literally tell you who in Viking mythology is considered their version of Santa Claus. Like, you know how Google shows you 4 questions, did you mean? And then it has like a couple drop-down buttons. So literally, David could have taken a mouse like this and scrolled down. Can't do it. He's that dangerous. He just can't do it.
I guess that interested you a lot more than it did me. Oh.
It's one of the main points of the movie. How often have you seen a Viking Santa Claus on screen? Never, from my recollection.
This is true.
Yeah,
he uses that hammer pretty well. So.
Whoa! Spoilers now. Well, anyways, what I did find out for you was this.
He found out the manufacturer of said hammer, and he's going to deliver us the news.
Well, this
like
is
Ace Hardware.
Ace Hardware. Is that our sponsor this week?
No. Oh man, who knows? I don't know. We're playing a lot of commercials again, so I don't know. Who knows? All right, but no, I'm gonna talk about a Santa link. Go ahead, keep going.
Anyways, well, so this is like a long. There's a long history of killer Santa Claus movies, including Silent Night, Deadly Night, Christmas Evil, Dial Code Santa, Fat Man, and the Tales from the Crypt episode, All Through the House.
Are you calling Santa a murderer?
Well, in these movies, he is.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to write that down. I'm just jotting down my notes.
Okay,
Santa
fine. I did pull a fact from the movie that I thought was interesting. So the actor that plays an actor in the movie refers to he could have like taken out all the bad guys on if he was on one of the planes in 9/11, which is a reference to Mark Wahlberg saying the same thing in an interview, which he had to apologize for after the fact because you know, I guess Mark Wahlberg would have saved the day if he was on one of those planes, according to him.
And then he could have fed you afterwards too.
Yeah,
he's got hamburgers now.
All right, so speaking of David Harbour, you know, from Stranger Things, he said that one of his earliest memories of believing in Santa was waking up one Christmas morning and seeing a bite taken out of his cookie, like, which I guess just blew his mind at the time. He's like that's all he needed, the proof. That's the only proof he needed that Santa was real. And the idea for this movie actually came from the 2 writers who wrote Sonic the Hedgehog, of all things. They came up with the idea in high school. Apparently they had worked on a cable access show, and they'd come up with a skit where robbers were invading a home and Santa just happened to arrive at the time and took all the bad guys out. So they got to like make that into like a full-blown movie. Nice. I mean, could you have come up with this good of a well, I'm sure we could have come up with this concept in high school, but would we seen it through?
Yeah, absolutely. But what makes it unique again is the fact that it's a Viking Santa Claus.
It is. What didn't they do? I never saw the movie. Wasn't there a cartoon where there was like a crazy Viking Santa Claus, like the Guardians of something, Rise of the Guardians?
Yeah, he's tattooed like a sailor. Yeah, it's called like the Guardians. Yeah, that's what it is. Each magical thing is like the protector of children and the planet or something, or holidays. Yeah, Jack Frost is like the main character who doesn't know what he's doing and he learns. I don't know. Yeah, and Santa's there.
And he learns a lesson.
Yeah, learn
That's all
something.
movies.
Tonight's only message is if you want to be watching the Violent Night movie with David Harbour as a Viking Santa Claus, we have a Santa link. We're going to drop into the podcast notes. It's from our friends at Fandango Voodoo. I think, is that the name of the company that's combined? Anyway, they still sell movie tickets, and we have some because we got like an affiliate link. So if you guys are so enticed to go watch Santa do the murders, as David just told us, then you can click the link and go buy tickets for your whole family. It's a real family affair, I think. And without further ado, we'll jump into the bits and see if it really is a family affair.
The bits.
Bits.
Some of my favorite bits. I would say the like Home Alone booby trap scene was pretty good. It had me watching through my fingertips and definitely yelling.
R-rated Home Aloners.
Yes, yeah. And I was yelling all sorts of swear words through my fingers and my mouth. Like, it was
actually.
Yeah, it was great. The gore was there, and I would say like the shed scene where Santa's like savagely just like murdering a bunch of bad people with a candy cane. I thought that was a pretty good bit. Lots of things to like about this movie. And the one thing I will say is that just like one of my favorite Christmas movies is Santa Claus, is that there is literally no question that Santa is real. Like Santa is just real in this movie. And he's like trying to prove that he's the real Santa Claus throughout the whole thing. And I love that the true believing spirit is in this very graphic Santa Claus murder movie. So what about you, Dave?
Yeah, it just made me think. One thing that's interesting about this movie is he's magic. Like we've seen things like him going through the chimney, but yet he's still mortal in the sense that like, one bullet to the head and Santa's out. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I agree with you. The Home Alone bit specifically, spoiler alert, it is a new movie, but the nail through the neck or the chin, just like, I think.
Oh yeah, dude's still alive. His name is Gingerbread. He's like a big buff dude, and like,
yeah.
I mean, they start to recognize that they're getting messed with by the child in a very Home Alone-esque. They might reference
it quite a few times, actually.
Yeah,
a couple times.
So it's kind of funny because it's supposed to like happen in our world because all the movie and TV references and all the celebrities, they all exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also the other part, I mean, I can name a million, but like just the montage of Santa taking out guys with a sledgehammer to Bryan Adams' Christmas song, just like the juxtaposition of this holly jolly, like happy song and just the carnage that Santa's taking out on these guys was just, chef kiss.
Mm-hmm.
But
I saw the nail coming and it shocked me anyways. I was like, it's going to go right through the chin. And I was still just like mortified, but in all of the best way.
Right. Oh, what about you, John?
Okay. So the beef that I have to pick with it is with John Leguizamo's Mr. Scrooge character. Cause I felt like, he's like a paint by numbers, very like one notice, like DC villain. Like in every scene, he kept having to prove just how bad he was. Right. Now, I noticed some of that might be a little creativity. It might have been a choice because part of it is like giving into the cliche of the Christmas spirit and all the Christmas magic and like the stuff that goes along with every tradition or whatever that they're doing. But so that bothered me. But then the way he gets taken out, spoiler alert, is with the Christmas magic, and it's one of the coolest things that they could have thought of to pancake this guy. And so that's my favorite part. And then like what's funny is like. You're like, Santa's going to die, or like, of course, Santa's going to get really hurt, and then the kids are going to have to start clapping, and they're going to have to use this Christmas spirit meter is going to go up. You're not going to get me. I'm talking to the screen like, well, I'm not really talking out loud, but I'm just like, you're not going to get me this time. You're not going to get me. You're not going to get me. No. And then like you have your Grinch moment, right? Where your heart's like, gets a little bit bigger, and you're like, dang, they got me again. You know what I mean? Like that, Christmas spirit thing like suckers you in, or at least the movie part of it, yeah. So I don't know. Get a little nostalgic.
That part was kind of funny in that the one sister, they're gonna start burning money. Like no. I'm like, dude, if there's really 300 million, like that's a drop in the bucket. Like if you've seen how much money, like how much money that really is, like he'll be okay.
The mom didn't even flinch. It's the old mom's money. And she's like, we'll go to the summer house. It has twice as much money in the walls. You know, like it didn't really
Honestly,
phase her.
that's kind of the biggest problem. I mean, we'll get into ratings later, but that was like one of the biggest problems is like the really bad guys. Like there's this set of bad guys, but they were naughty too. That whole family, except for the mom and the daughter. Like where was their comeuppance? Like where was their lump of coal? Like they needed something coming to them. They were not angels.
Well, they got tortured for 90 minutes. That doesn't count. They almost put a dude's balls in a nutcracker. None of that counts.
I guess, but I mean, like,
Dave's like, they didn't fall through. I gotta take it to the writers, guys. You really let me down in this scene. You take out a nutcracker, and then nothing gets cracked.
I mean, I was also kind of pissed, like, because, like, okay, Santa got the last best kill, but like, spoiler alert, the mom got the last kill of the movie. I'm like, you kind of took that away from Santa.
I didn't know she was leaning to the good side. I thought she was going to be the one that blew Santa away. I thought she was collecting the gun for a different reason.
I mean, I guess she saved the day or saved Santa. I don't know, man. I'll check it
out. No,
because
she was like a throwaway. She's like, I guess I believe too. That's not enough. He's got like 12 bullets in him. You know, it's like he's a little bit more spirit than that to pluck each bullet out. We're at the ratings, Dave. You've arrived there.
All right. Well, Jordan, as always, ladies first.
I can kick it off. Binge now. Binge always, binge forever. I loved this. This is so entertaining to watch. The gore was totally there. Yeah. Some awesome freaking kills. And Santa was excellent. I love that he had blood on his face the entire movie. Hugs to go around. Great Christmas spirit. What about you, Dave?
The last hour pushed this into a binge now. I'll be honest, the first hour, this is a very unevenly paced movie. When it finally gets to the movie I was expecting, I loved it. But like, I'll be honest, the first hour was, I won't say a drag, but it was like, all right, like there was like almost an hour between kills. Let's just put it that way. I didn't time it or anything.
But it's not a horror movie. It's Die Hard with Santa Claus.
I know, but even in
Die Hard in the movie,
of course. But even in Die Hard, like there's a big body count and it's spaced out pretty evenly. I don't know, but ultimately, I'm still saying binge now because when the movie kicked in to what I expected, I loved it. So yeah, binge now. John,
yeah, all the way around, it's a binge now. I gotta reference the villain in Fat Man. It's Walter Goggins plays a hitman obsessed with Santa Claus, and he spends the whole movie looking for the Mel Gibson Santa Claus, and then like collecting toys from other people that he like forensically detects whether or not they're really made by Santa Claus. So the showdown in that movie is a little more rewarding than in this movie. But David Harbour with like it's kind of like he merged his Hopper and Hellboy characters together and comes up with his Santa Claus. It's cool that he's got the tattoos and he's got the Odin all-wheel, which is like every rune from the Viking thing happening. That's where I was going with it. I thought Dave was going to mention, if you look up the Viking Santa Claus, it is Odin Allfather, who's like, Odin's like the top dog in the Greek myths, or not Greek myths. I'm going to get killed by Vikings. Norse mythology. One of the other sides of the world. Still looking at the same stars. Yeah, and he has like a 8-legged horse that pulls his sleigh instead of like reindeer. But that could easily get confused. You see a dude in the sky like, oh, it's reindeer. But it's really just a bunch of legs on a giant horse. Where are we now? Okay, so it's stocking stuffer month actually. So like I said, we have festive movies and we like to rip open these packages and see what we're going to review next week. Stocking stuffers. It's like basically, it used to be a neener, like a gag gift. It used to be like an evil Yankee swap thing, but that was before Jordan joined and we kind of changed the rules. Tried to change it up a little bit, but anyway. So, Johnny Sleighbells over here. I sent some stuff out to the gang, and who wants to do it this week? Who wants to like grab one of theirs at random and then tell us what we're watching next week? Jordan already has something. All right. Dave's listening for the instructions, and Jordan's like, ding, hit the bell.
Should I open it right now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I don't know which one I pulled, so... Oh.
It's like a purple gift bag. It kind of looks like wrapping paper.
They actually do a really good job with their...
I hope so for $4 a pop.
Okay. Got some tissue paper in there. And we are watching...
Holy crap. We're watching the 1980s version of Supergirl.
Supergirl.
Wow.
Nice. So that's next week. Stocking stuffer, Supergirl. Thanks for joining us for the freaking Violent Night movie. And as Dave said, there's a bunch of other killer Santa Claus movies you can look up. Yeah, if that's your thing.
Go back and watch. I keep saying it to anybody. Go and watch the Tales from the Crypt movie from the 70s. The first segment has a killer Santa Claus. And if you can find the TV version of it, go find that online.
Dang, I really like the Supergirl movie. I like that more than I like Superman 3. This will be fun.
Wow. That says a lot. I liked that one. So I'm excited.
It's been a while since I've seen it, so it'll be like watching a new movie for me.
LETGO, right? Let's
Sure.
go. Sorry, I forgot the S.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I do need to let go. I always forget.
Yeah,
to do that
David,
sometimes.
just sink back into your chair. Watch. I don't know. Well, you can't. I was gonna say watch Charlie Brown Christmas, but only if you freaking have Apple TV, because they bought the whole damn catalog.
Oh.
Bah humbug to everybody else. You got to get Apple to see that shit.
I just let that lapse this month too. So, damn.